When we're looking at the slow trade versus the in and outs that we talk about on the Discord, and you don't want to trade often, you don't have a lot of time, you don't have to worry about these retracements. Because if in a month you do 33%, 30, 20, 18, it doesn't matter on these little retracements.
Well, hello, everybody, to show 73, April 23rd. Welcome to NFA OFC, and as always, not financial advice, of fucking course, where we look through the money flow cycle. We all hang out, we see where the money's moving, so we stay on track, and that's why we call this show the Daily Fix. We all just need a hit of, something to make us calm the fuck down. Pope's gonna come on. Hey, Ann America. Pope, get on here, buddy.
I'm here.
Hey, after the money flow cycle, we're going to go over our picks and trades, right? Not all the things we're trading, but just the things we're kind of.
Yeah, we won't get into all the hunt that we did. We put that up there. You can go back on YouTube and check if you took those trades. But the ones we're focusing on, the Discord, the ones we've been focusing for the show, yeah, we'll go through all those today. Absolutely.
Nice. All right. How about money flow cycle? Let's do it.
All right, here it is. Let's start with the total market cap. My last comment, I think, before I went to bed last night in our Discord was, can you send it to 2.4? 2.405, I think, was the exact, and I think our peak was the 2.417. So not bad. We said yesterday we were looking for a little bit of a red candle pullback from all this healthy up, and we're just kind of holding this area. This was saying that money can come in at any time. We have a feeling we're going to contest this area here, like we did here, but it's been playing along like we've been wanting to see. We talk about the belly. Now we're waiting for the bullish cross and to go. And just a little stabilization here will show some strength. And then I think we're going to be just injecting more money into the total market cap. And when we look at it on a 4 hour, it's just these nice, healthy ups, retracements. This is exactly what we want to see. This makes me happy. This makes me bullish. Things are looking good in terms of money entering. Even when we look at how I normally look at it, 1 day, 4 hour, 2 hour, 30, 15, and 5, we can see here on the smaller time frames, yeah, we just had this massive up. Some money's going to leave. We'll probably have a bearish cross and pull back a little bit. But our daily momentum is still doing exactly everything that we want it to do. Probably have some resistance at that 2.434, which we did yesterday. And then just slowly continue our upwards trend. And having these W's of consolidation, it just builds strength for the markets. So dominance, I was just having a look at this earlier. This is interesting because when we look at a pattern, pull up some tools, we can see we've come up and we're doing this. And typically that's a bullish wedge that wants to break out. Now, it also looks like we're coming up to a bearish cross and then it wants to come down. Both situations to me are good to some extent. If it goes down and money leaves the market, not good for the price of our alts and everything, but good for entries. If it goes up, and I'll stay the same, it's money flowing into the total market cap. It's money coming into crypto. So I'm hoping this is a bullish cross and we pump. The reason for it, we need more money in the market, then we need that money to roll down into the alts.
Sorry, so you want dominance to go up?
In the sense of money coming into the total market cap, yes.
Right.
Because
Got it.
the more money that is in the total market, that little bit of percentage that comes out and flows into the alts will start to do our alt run. Come on. Oh, that is my day.
Interesting.
We can see that we're still on this upward trend, and then we'll want the fall after we get a nice high, and that'll signify our alt run because we're still in a Bitcoin cycle. Speaking of Bitcoin, I mean, it's pretty much doing what we want it. What we've been talking about. This is Bitcoin on the daily. You know, this was our stink bid from before geopolitical event. This was our entry that we ended up hitting on this after this down. And here we are, but it's been bouncing just like this bullish wedge pattern that we were just talking about with the dominance. You know, this smaller green rectangle was all the consolidation in the 4 hours. You know, this big one is our top to bottom of our daily consolidation. And now this inner one is where we're at. So let's clean this up a bit. We're now in the center part of the entire gap, for lack of better words, or box or consolidation area, whatever you want to call it. And from bottom to top, it's a 19% swing. And we might do this for a while. And that's healthy, that's good, and it gives us more opportunities to take profits in our altcoins. So Bitcoin doing everything we want to see, still looking like it's going to come up to a bullish cross, test these areas. The hardest area for it right now to beat is going to be that 68,737 up in here, that 69. It needs to settle out and then take off again. And then in the next level, it's going to have difficulty at is going to be that 71.5 area, and then the top of the box at 73. For Ethereum, let's have a quick look on 4 before we jump into Ethereum. Like, look at all that healthy retracement, upwards motion. Still, let's take away our drawings. Still with our spread on our micro bull and bear indicator, right? So we're making these ups, retracements. Now it's looking like it wants to consolidate or take off, but we still have bullish momentum on the 4 hour on this indicator. We're not even in a sell position right now on Stochastic, and volume is very equal by the look of it at the mo. Interesting. Not a lot of volume. Let's have a look at Ethereum. So our 2 entries on Ethereum was the belly of this, which we call, this is where we made our first mistake of Ethereum. It didn't do the cup and handle due to geopolitical. So we caught the entry here, which would have been a great exit if you took it there, and then obviously caught our stink bid. And now our first entry is actually acting as resistance, but still very healthy. We're still in that belly that we want to see. Same thing. And this is because we are in that Bitcoin cycle, and I sometimes sound like a broken record on all these trades, is that they're following these same patterns. And we still have a nice spread. And the further these lines apart usually indicates price action. So coming up into possible pullback territory by Stochastic, we've had a break and a touch at some major resistance and price point. Wouldn't surprise me if pulled back a little bit and then continue. So Ethereum starting to maybe have a little bit of action. The ETFs are coming and all that. So I think there are some eyes on Ethereum. Yeah, like on the 2 hour, just textbook wanting to just continue up. So for money coming in, we don't have an indication right now of a micro bear. Pullback's healthy. This is looking great to me. We're almost at that 2.4 where I was hoping to get up to. And this is where we're going to have to see if we can hold or go higher in terms of the market cap. Does that help you with everything on that? Do you have any questions?
No. I mean, when I was looking at Bitcoin earlier, I was just kind of like zoning out to it before. I just couldn't understand how to read the 4 hour, the daily to the weekly. And I couldn't understand how all three of them would offer me what information is to what's going to happen, just because of the way the micro bears and micro bulls were for some reason.
Let's have a quick look at it. How bad are the lines? Why don't we
Thanks.
start a new chart?
Thanks, Bo.
Why don't we start a new chart? Create a new chart. Why not?
A fresh chart. Nice.
Fresh chart. Let's have a quick look because it is Bitcoin season. And let's take all our indicators off for now.
Do you think that we can see your
Oh
your
my
screen?
goodness. Oh, thank you so much.
I thought you were just prepping the screen for us before.
That's hilarious. Reminds me of the days when we're in the living room. You got everybody around the coffee or the dining table, and nobody's telling me that it's not projected on the screen behind me. All right. So Bitcoin on the weekly. This will be fun. I actually haven't marked it up from scratch in a while. So where are we in the cycle? That's another great question a lot of people have been asking. I think we're here. This part here. I don't know. We got.
You don't think we're at the top there?
Oh, no.
You don't think so, eh?
All right. So first thing I'll always do is I'll look for our support and resistance in key areas, and then I'll mark them. I like to zoom out, and this doesn't matter for anything. Doesn't matter what token. If I'm looking at it fresh, this is what I'll always do. And then I'm going to look for key areas of support and resistance. And here, I'm going to use the wicks from top to bottom because the price action went that far. I'm going to set everything so it's on the right time frame so I know what I'm looking at when I'm looking at it. I'm going to go more to the bottom of this wick because it's more recent than these here. It held that area. So that's my rationale.
I'm very excited to watch this so I can, because I did a lot of this stuff. I'm curious to see your take and how it compares to mine. Thanks.
Nice. My pleasure. All right. So on the weekly, that's probably all I'm going to do for markups. I mean, we could really get into, because this candle's not done. We obviously have 4 days. We can see we have a parallel channel forming right there, ting, 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 here's 3-touch candle. This would be your retest to confirm a breakout. So this holds, it makes sense on the weeklies that we're going to go up to these levels. Now that might happen in a day, 2 days, who knows how long. But I'm not going to leave that in there because it's kind of just be too much clutter when we zoom in. So on the weekly, we're showing strength right now, right where it's at. We're in the middle of this consolidation area that goes all the way back to resistance and support. And we have a bullish wedge, just like we've been talking about in other patterns. We have come up. Actually, right now, it's more looking like a bullish pennant. And it's doing that. And then typically it retests on the top before it takes off. We are in uncharted territory, as most probably know, because these are new highs and we have the ETFs and blah, blah, blah. So on the daily, we have what looks like on a TA, or sorry, on the weekly, what looks like on a technical analysis side, movement to the direction of the upside without using any indicators yet. So on the daily, if we zoom in, you really start to see these W's. And this is where the sky is falling, and then everybody is great again, and the sky is falling. And it really needs for here to hold this weekly support of 65,691. Otherwise, this area has broken all this support, and it will go right back down, and then it will need to fight to hold here. The same thing, I'm thinking, oops, one bit. Now, and we know what happened here was geopolitical. This was the all-time high. So these two make sense. Value buys, people buying in, taking profit, and then political. What is this that we're looking at? Roughly. All right. So we're roughly in that 23% swing, which is huge when you're on a 5-figure asset. It's huge for any asset. So on the daily, if we want to put in what I would do next is I would be looking for support and resistance. Support and resistance. Put this one on lock. And I'm going to look for our major ones. And then I'm going to make sure these are on my proper colors. When I see them on different time frames, I know what they are. So lots of resistance here, some major support here, and coming up to clearly having a difficulty getting up to it there. Makes sense for me to put that in there. Lots of support, lots of resistance. Right? And then same thing for coming down, probably there. And that would be enough lines if I'm analyzing to go in. So we can see on the daily, sorry, trend line. We go to our last. To a lock. Now, technically, could go like I did before on the other, which is that way. That will help us more with the pattern of in and then consolidating. Or you can go just like I did there, a little shorter. and go off the height of the last. And we can see we're in a retest right there. So since we have the higher date on the other one, I'll leave it at this. And so this next candle is going to be our retest. Not today's, tomorrow's, for this pattern that's being built right now.
Can this not be a was this a flag instead of a pendant?
Oh, right here, this to me is more of a wedge. But I have to pull it up.
Huh.
Now you were having trouble. You were saying, trying to get an idea of direction.
Yeah.
Right. So far we know we have a test coming up for direction. Because when we know we have a retest possibility, it's either going to break to the downside or to the upside. So we know we're in an area for that, but right now, kind of hard to tell what exactly is going on. We know we need to keep this level of support, this 65,691, which is very strong because it's weekly. And that's probably why it held here, which is a bullish sign because it was resistance here. Support, resistance. Now it's become support again. So on a 4-hour, even more interesting.
It popped right back up to that weekly.
Right. And you can see we're just consolidating right now in this area. It's having troubles breaking the 67,224, which was support right here. Support right back down here. Now, this is where your tools come in so handy, because we could, on a TA pattern, come all the way down here and bounce. There's no reason why we couldn't on a structural TA level. This has all the possibility to come down and then up, or up here and down, and anywhere along this line break out of it to retest. The retest to settle outside of it and take off. That can happen anywhere along this line. It's our indicators that we use that help us determine. And this is tough. When everything's right in the middle and it's consolidating, consolidation brings pressure. It's going to cause a breakout when you have consolidation. There's 3 things that happen with consolidation. It either continues to consolidate, or it breaks out to the up, or it breaks out to the down. And what helps us with that is now our indicators. So let's start on the weekly again, because we were having trouble looking at from the weekly to zoom in and look at everything that we've done and add our indicators. And let's take away our drawings now. So our micro bull, micro bear are these 2 lines. We have not quite curl, and we've got a ton of spread. Critical fear on our indicator, or critical greed, sorry, has fired for a while. Makes sense because it's come up. %76 in, I should carry it over to the next candle, but you can see, like, in a little over a month and a half, that's huge. So
That's amazing. That's insane.
Right. So it's been compressing, consolidating in this rectangle here, which are those 2 gold lines, top and the bottom, because it goes all the way back in history. This is telling us, typically when we're on the bottom for stochastic, that it's a buy money is being injected, a buy signal. Now it's saying we're not quite in a buy yet. Well, this always also isn't always right. And we already know there might be a little more price to the downside. We just talked about that. But it's looking like it's been holding this area, which is where all those lines are. So we've had a little bit of curl because we've had this cool off, which makes sense when we look at that 70 some odd percent that it's taken off on. Right? And we are also in the highest dollar values it's been since birth. And all of that, as you know, the news and propaganda and everything that comes along with it, that could move its price in 10% in a day or a few moments, you know. So on the weekly, our indicators are telling us we got lots of spread. We are still well above the median. You know, we've already kind of cooled. We got 4 days. I reckon this probably either this next week candle or this candle will eventually get out of the critical greed. But in the bullish market, there's going to be a lot of critical greed. There's going to be a lot of greed in a bullish market. That's part of the sentiment. So it's also good to understand that. On a daily, then you understand how the micro bear and the micro bull indicators work. What's coming up?
Little belly.
This is where I love my entries. And this is why we gave these entries or we hunt for entries. I hunt for entries in the bellies because then we get the cross. And we typically know after the first candle after the cross is going to be the pullback as well. And that's why we say wait for those pullbacks if you're just buying the crosses. Buying the bellies or entering in the bellies is your highest risk because it can drop. And that's what happened in our trading series. We got great entries for the market conditions at the time. And then geopolitical happens, bombs got dropped, and we know that affects markets. Strategy, by having money on the side, enabled us to prepare for it. So on the daily, we have bullish coming. We have no sell condition in here, can easily turn, come back down, and get into another buy position before it gets raging selly. So stochastic's fine. And on the daily, Bitcoin's finally cooled off. It's not all this crazy greed on the RSI. Not bad. So all of this right now, bullish. When we add our TA over it, we know there'll be another red candle eventually, right? But the daily momentum, the long-term outlook is to this direction. And from current price, another 10.9%, which we know for Bitcoin can do in a couple of days sometimes. Sometimes we can do it in a few hours. But typically, Bitcoin typically moves at 2-3% a day and is the slower. And that's why we trade alts. When we go on the 4 hour,
So that's showing some promising spread also.
still, and even if it starts to come down and this starts to curl, not necessarily a bad thing. We've had lots of downs and retracements.
It wouldn't surprise me if it came obviously down to the yellow, like the weekly line there, but that's why we wait.
Yeah. So does that help a little bit with the clarity? And
Yeah, 100%. Thanks.
Cool. Let's get into all right. So
Yeah. Hope that's just scared the shit out of me. I had to turn down my mic. Okay, let's do it.
So just as we said, we were looking to buy some bellies in anticipation of meeting some of these patterns from a zoomed out view. Our goal is to make this cup and handle pattern with 1 inch. I won't keep flogging a dead horse. We know that bombs happened. And this was stage 2 of geopolitical mess. Tried to buy the belly again with a stink bid, went a little bit down, and now it's above this. And strategy is when you always have money on the side, because you never know when a black swan or anything else is going to happen. You're buying the token that you believed in up here, which all of these I believe are great tokens. And when it comes down on the discount, if you put the same amount of money on you did up here, you're buying not much more of it as well. So as soon as it starts to turn around, you're making more profit. Now, if you didn't follow strategy or didn't have cash on the side, because that's just not how it gets to roll for you, this is what we call round tripping, and you have to wait to get all the way back up there just to be in your even, and that sucks. That's frustrating, and then creates FOMO, and then sometimes can create bad decisions. And that's why I say it's always good to have a certain percentage of your bag on the side, and then also don't over diversify. If you don't have a ton of different tokens, you don't have to re-enter on a bunch either. So 1 inch, as we said last night on the show, it's kind of been lackluster in its return, but it is showing health. It is above where we got it. I mean, it's not great. I still believe in it, but compared to some of our other returns, it's been great. Long-term outlook still very bullish. This is one we just got to be a little more patient with compared to others. And remember where our target is before all this happened. And all of these trades, if you're just tuning in, these trades are to last a few weeks to possibly a month and a bit to take the profits out of. This is not fast trading. We will be doing something like that when the markets are primed for it and show you how I do it. Not financial advice, of course. So 1 inch, I'm happy with where it's at and the fact that we've come from our low, and it's just a matter of time, I think, for 1 inch. It's not red alert for me quite yet. Aave has had a nice recovery. We can see we're having some resistance at our daily resistance, 96.49. And we need it to hold this level here where it has been, right in this level. And if it can hold, put our tools on. If it can hold this level, that's strength on the 4, and then it's just on its way off. It'll need to retest on top. Then it's going to retest this level up here. And same thing, our long-term goal on Aave is a cup and handle formation up to these 120s and that, which is, I think we figured it out. Current price, it's around, well, that was from the top way back before. So from current price, we're looking at about 118. On the daily, you can see what I'm talking about, like these bellies of the micro bear. So on the daily on this, we just want this to do this. And then price action, to follow that suit. And right now, it's on that path, and we got a great entry on the bottoms here, looking towards hopefully getting to our original route with Aave. And we've talked about how some they just have different time frames. Attention goes to different tokens that time. And I mean, here's a prime example just in that. And look where it's fighting. At daily support. And it's got room to run. Still got lots of room to run. So healthy retracement fighting that resistance. And this is why I put those few lines in. Oops. There's another one for you, Primo.
We're having an oops reel.
Yeah. When we did this with the lines on the daily and the weekly, how we just marked up Bitcoin, was just that quick and easy. And you can see how it starts to play out with support and resistance in places. And if you've been watching these trades for a bit, you see it. I'm not trying to call the future. I'm using really good, powerful tool strategy that has worked for me, and just put them together with understanding the mentality of what I always refer to as the sheeple. So Algorand, I expect, will be on par. I expect most of these trades, if everything stays the same, geopolitical, in a few days, we'll be in that much better of a position again. I mean, we weren't sure that entry would have hit if it was on the 18th. It did. Even our bottom entries before the second round are now in profit. And if you followed the strategy of, like I said, we buy in more, and all these trades are posted in our Discord, you're in profits now. You're righting the ship. And where are we going to have problems? Look at where all these wicks stopped. That gold trend line on the weekly. They've all stopped at that one right there. Am I bullish right now on Avalanche? Absolutely. I'm bullish on Avalanche, period. But Avalanche is down in here on stochastic. And if money is flowing in the market, this is a hella sign. And off we go. Ciao. Compression in a buy area. This is ready to pop. I'll leave it at that.
That was confident the way you did that. Enough said. Move on.
Enough said. Mic drop. We're out of here.
Not financial advice, of fucking course.
Thank you. We're fighting around this 7290, which is our daily support and resistance on the 4-hour, could possibly come down and try to retest this wick area. Looks like it's been holding and coming into a buy area, which means money is injecting. And we'll see if we get up to retesting this 77, or what is it, 769. So these are what I like to see. We're already on healthy recovery from, a week ago. This was a week ago right here. It was last week. This is where we were, and if we look at the reality of that, take that bid. In 7 days, that's still 8.93%. Nothing wrong with that. If you want to take that percentage, move on. Nothing wrong with that either. I'm holding, just like we said earlier, these trades for me are going to be 3-4 weeks, maybe longer, because I'm pretty sure we'll get bigger gains. And there's other coins I'll be swing trading in, or bag holding, or blah, blah, blah. Phantom.
Oh, Phantom, my round tripping
uh,
wife.
Tuesday we were in here last week. No, that was Tuesday. Wow. And it's clearly had some problems. It's looking like it wanted to get a micro bear, but it is in a bullish space on stochastic. No fear, no greed on RSI right in the middle, which is typically healthy. This is something that really needs the money to come in, but it's definitely holding this line. We definitely have that pattern of up. So what are we waiting for? A retest to break that trend, break that support, and then we're probably right off up to this area in here before the weekly. But typically when things can fall this fast, the rebounds sometimes are just that fast. So this is why I'm not panicking, because or taking these smaller trade percentages like the other day and then now buying in. Would that have been a great trade? Absolutely. But with what I've got going on in IRL right now, I don't have the time. And these are, like I said, trades that are set up for longer trades, longer holds. We'll leave the squiggles. Let's see how the squiggles play.
It's kind of what we talk about all the time, is just having a little balance, and you can do this. You don't have to be stuck to your machine, and you can still, trade successfully.
Absolutely. I mean, it's not as exciting, I'll be honest, but
Some of us don't feel driven by adrenaline,
who you be talking about that? I mean, we can see here on the 4 hour, if we even go off bodies, we have this area of consolidation. And we've said many times, consolidation leads to compression or breakout in either direction. This was a good one where we hit our stink bid. Our current bids were great. One we thought was going to be a joke, and we were laughing about it. Geopolitical twice, and a great recovery to almost being where we were. So Fetch is showing great strength. It harbored this storm very, very well. And now we're looking for it. This here does look like a bullish pennant, just bouncing in a rectangle from straight up, and then just needs to retest over probably that line there, and then it'll go. It's tried. You can see how many times it's already tried.
Would you be concerned if the candle started sort of hanging out under the median?
If it was hanging out under this consolidation box, this here is where I would have my stop loss if I wasn't doing a long-term trade. But anywhere down in here, I think will be normal, healthy. You'll probably get a stink bid in here somewhere. Jessica Wildchild, what is a stink bid? A stink bid is when we're trying to guess the momentum to the upside instead of just having one entry. So we had 3 entries here, and we went with the current price. So say you had $1,000 to wager. We went to invest with this particular, wager is just as good as a word as any, I guess. So we would divide it up 33 and a third, 33 and a third, 33 and a third percent, or $333 on each one of these lines. So if it came down and hit your bottom entry price and then turned around and rocketed, we call that a stink bid, because it just dollar cost entry averaged your entry so nicely by having them. So instead of just having one entry to a token, I will typically do 2 to 3, and then always have on reserves for just in case geopolitical black swans, a tweet from China, Elon. And these are kind of real things that can affect the market. And if you're prepared for it, as soon as it starts to turn around, you're in profits faster. and you're not doing this round tripping. Trust me, I know it sucks to sit there and watch USDT just sit on your wallet and everything else in your wallet is pumping. I know what that feels like. But it also sucks when it tanks and you have nothing to do about it. And I think that second feeling of suck is way worse. My 2 cents. Did that make sense?
Yeah. It's your 2 cents and we get it for free. I love it.
Pretty much. Filecoin is one that I have been a little disappointed in. But I still love the project. We've done very well with Filecoin since January. It's been in quite a few of our trades. We were looking at such a nice belly to go. Boom, called a nice entry. And then it's just been doing all this, which could just be a whole lot of compression ready for a breakout. It is holding here, which is nice. It is in a buy position here. It just hasn't had its moment. And we even gave an entry, I think, on the hunt one night at this bottom line for the DGen 69.93. Lackluster compared to the others. And right around just a tiny scratch of profit from all the re-entries. Hurts, but I still have faith. And this is where diversification comes in. Because sometimes, things hit when you get your entries, your stink bids, and then your recovery of the stink bids, and then, the market responds. So obviously Hedera has been our best hit so far. Am I cashing out Hedera right now in excitement? I wouldn't blame anybody if they did. We are in critical. The rationale, if you don't know what happened with HBAR, probably should have talked about it before, was that I believe it was BlackRock chose it as the chain that they're going to be doing their ETFs on and things like that. So when that news was confirmed, this is what's happened. So even from our bottom entry to its current price is 118.98%. We would have to dollar cost average all our entries and figure it out, but we can probably just take the middle, even though I probably bought more on the bottom, but we'll just say everything was even Steven. So from there to there is probably roughly right around there to current price. That's still a 90% trade. Am I getting out? No. Why? Is that greed? No, our indicators are not telling us to yet. We still have a lot of spread. So they're going to be pullback? Absolutely. But look at our weekly. We didn't get to it. And when we got into HBAR, we wanted to get to this weekly and then to up here. And we're still in a buy position. So will there be a little bit of retracement? Yes. And like I said, if you want to take the profit and go, no one's going to fault you. I think HBAR has a long way to go. I'm in no hurry to get out, but I just love when you get beautiful entries like this, and then you see that this is why I love crypto. Fuck yeah. Not financial advice, of course. And like I said before, I will always post, since these trades are in the Discord. If I do anything with these trades, I will post that in the Discord. Chainlink made it all the way up to its weekly resistance. Another beautiful recovery that's happened. Now price stabilization. And by a stochastic, we're in a buy, an entry, seems to be holding. This resistance is now looking like it's becoming support, which is going to now retest this weekly trend. Actually, I think Kate, you and I were sitting together when that hit, and I was like, "Oh man, Chainlink's doing well."
Just
Now,
that's a great, amazing how it lines up like that sometimes.
It just fascinates me. And yeah, could I have sold there and then just rebought in and made the 2%? Absolutely. Like I said, these just not point of these trades. And I also understand we could get a micro bear indicator and it might pull down to these levels before it retests again. Well aware and understanding this is nothing for Chainlink. Like I said, when we put this entry, it felt gross cheap at this price, even though I was in this for fractions of a penny back in the day. Telcoin, we didn't really, I never went into it. I did give full disclosure. I didn't have it on. I use software, hardware, computer separation for security. And it's not on Mexi, and I use decentralized exchanges. No, I mean, sorry, non-KYC. It is positioned to want to pump again. We did give an entry. These were our entries before Bad News Bears. That was our recovery entry, and it looks to be starting to have that belly and to the upside. Won't spend much time on it because, you know, more. Another one where, you know, it just, these were belly entries before Bad News Bears. Our recovery, we were hoping to see that line. Well, we saw it. Our profit. How much? Let's just take the middle of all those lines. Right there. You know, 35%. Not bad since last in a week. You know, and then the same thing. We're looking for have the cup and handle, the pullback, and the bullish takeoff, and this is our target up to here, which from our average entry, I'll just grab in the middle to there's another 70 some odd percent, and then if we get up to there, 113, 152. And bullish, and we're in a buy position on the weekly.
And I'm really curious how, obviously we don't know when, right? So I'm really curious about how the timeline looks on that.
You know, and just happy this is the textbook entry of a micro and of a belly to now get in the cross. We're holding this area consolidation on the 4 hour because it's green. So if we go in there, we can see that there's our consolidation on the 4 that we had before. And we still have lots of spread and consolidation. It's time to go again. Fucking love it. Not financial risk. SNX is a prime example of one of our sleepers. You know, we really wanted this one to turn. It did, and then and now we got a micro bear, and it's fighting to hold this line on the 4 hours before it starts to go. It's just part of the game, and that's why we have these diversifications. Can it come back probably down here? Maybe. You know, probably catch a wick down there if it does curl. But you are in a buy. We know money wants to come in. It's already started to retrace off of this 2 hour candle. I just want to keep doing all these steps. And if all this happens and stays on the path that it is, bullish sentiment. I think that was the last one of our trading series, if I remember correctly.
You did all of that and explain.
Oh, did we lose you?
Hello?
Did we lose you, or did you lose me?
Apparently we're a little bit lost. Nice work. Nice work. That was 55 minutes for all of that.
Awesome. Show 73. Wow. In the books. for all those that keep tuning in and watching and retweeting and sharing, thanks. We're just trying to get the word out there. And, it's just my 2 cents and how I see markets. I hope it helps. If you ever do have questions, one in our Discord, feel free to join us.
Oh yeah, it's we're just building this community and everyone's just super freaking supportive. It's amazing. And any questions people ask and all over the world, right? Because it's a 24-hour it's a 24-hour program, baby.
Never sleeps.
You can
Love it.
you can study whenever you'd like.
Let's do it all again tomorrow.
Yeah, man, sounds great. 7 o'clock. NFA
Yeah.
OFC. PST. See you later. Bye, Ann America. Bye, Quan. Thanks for coming.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.